When that role discussion first came up, were you all for it, or were you a little bit apprehensive?
Oh my God, I thought everyone was nuts. It's like, what? Are you joking?
Who actually asked you, if you can tell me that?
So
How
this
does
is
that
a really
how does that
funny
come
story.
about? Because I imagine it's not the same phone call about trying to get the marketing the press officer job of just a phone call.
No.
How does it happen?
So this is one of the most extraordinary days that I ever had in Formula One. So I got a call, December 2012, things are slightly quieter, end of the season, and I was due to move house. So I had taken a couple of days off towards Christmas, December 22nd, due to move house, get a phone call from Toto the night before saying, Claire, Bernie Ecclestone wants to see us at his offices in London. He's got a sponsor for us.
Is Toto still an owner in the team at this point?
Toto's still
got you.
exec director, minority shareholder in the team. And I was like, Toto, I'm moving house tomorrow, dude. I have given my everything this year. This is my one day to move house. It's scheduled. It's been in the diary. And then it's Christmas. I can't. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but it's Bernie. Of course I've got to go. It's a sponsor for Williams, potentially. Of course I'm going. So my then boyfriend, I had to say, well, you're moving house and I'll see you in the evening. Anyway, I get to London. I get to Princess Gate, which is where Bernie's offices were. And I think the meeting was scheduled for 12:30. And Toto said, I'll meet you there. And I got there really early, but I was put into Bernie's office and told Mr. E will be with you shortly. Bernie comes in 15 minutes later and goes, I'm a bit busy at the moment. I'm just tying another meeting up. Are you all right to wait here? So I'm like, of course. And I'm like, meeting's due to start. Toto hasn't still arrived. And it's like, well, you've called this meeting. You should be here earlier because this is Mr. E and we're all here, to see the headmaster. You get here early. And he's not. And like Toto's phoned me when he phoned earlier, said, I'm stuck in traffic. I'll be there soon, I promise. Sounding quite anxious. Anyway, as I said, at 12:30, whatever the meeting time starts, he's not there. And I phone him and I go, Toto, where are you? I'm stuck in traffic. I'll be there. Don't worry. I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, this is really unacceptable now. I'm here. Everyone's late. I'm supposed to be moving house.
It's almost Christmas.
Yeah. It's another 10 minutes and Toto still hasn't arrived. And then sends me this weird text message going, Claire, and I wish I could do his kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator accent.
It's in my head.
I can't.
Don't worry.
My husband can do it brilliantly, but I can't. So he's like, Claire, I'm really sorry. Please don't hate me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is weird. So this is all getting really weird in my head now. Anyway, so half an hour later, Bernie and Toto come in, and clearly they've been in another room somewhere without me. And I'm really getting suspicious. And then they sit me down and then they say, how do you feel about running a Formula One team?
That was it?
Yeah. And at this point, my jaw, as you can imagine, drops to the floor. I'm like, I don't know what you people are talking about. And they said, well, we're thinking, there might be an opportunity for you to run Williams. This is so weird because you're not my dad and this is his team. And why are you asking me this? And I thought, we're here for a sponsor and I'm about to move house and this is not good timing.
It's quite
it was really overwhelming. I was 36 at the time. I was minding my business, running marketing and comms, and really only just settled into this role, settling into the commercial role. I had done a huge amount of work to, make things, do things my way, and I was loving it. And I'm like, you guys, what is wrong with you? And we're thinking there might be an opportunity for you to do this. Do you feel ready? And I was like, well, I don't know. I've never given it any thought. I don't know if I'm ready. And no, I don't really feel ready.
Yeah.
I'm quite young.
No, I definitely don't.
Yeah. And they were like, well, Toto had been approached. The backstory is Toto had been approached, but at this point by Mercedes to run them. They were about to buy Brawn and come into Formula One, and they'd asked Toto to run it. And so Toto and I, at that point, were kind of half running the team together.
Right.
Williams team together. And he had in his head, obviously, this grand plan. He would go and run Mercedes. I would run Williams, and everything would be hunky-dory. Brilliant. Yeah. And so this was the conversation to kick that, or to start that ball rolling, and to get my take on it.
Yeah.
And obviously my take was just complete shock and like, what is going on with the world? And they were like, you'll be fine. But if you don't, we've got someone here waiting in the wings. And I'm like, and then they bring this other person in who they've obviously already briefed might be running Williams. And it was like, this is extraordinary. And I'm not going to mention who that person was, but it never happened.
Yeah.
And obviously so the next part of the stories gets a bit weirder because Bernie's like, I've got lunch with my daughter now. It's her birthday. I can't miss it. You're coming with us. And Toto and I were like, really? I don't think your daughter's going to want us like gate crashing her birthday lunch.
Stressed out Williams about the future.
I'm really stressed out. And all Bernie is saying to me at this time, he's like putting his hand over mine going, Claire, everything will be all right. I will always look after you. Everything will be fine. It will be fine. So we go to lunch and I get home and I'm like, my brain is like scrambled egg at this point. And I'm like, did that really just happen? And so to cut a long story short, as I just explained, Toto needed to move. And Toto's kind of sense was, I will only leave if you agree to take over Williams and then I'll know it's in safe hands.
So he had to move, a part of his thing, he had to leave Williams' ownership, so small ownership, to do the Mercedes thing. Okay.
Exactly. So obviously over the winter, I had conversations with my mother and plans were put in place for me to take over the team at the start of the next season.